Welcome back. Well, as college students prepare to leave the nest, stepping into independence and leaving behind family, it can actually be stressful, but parents, there are some things that you can do to help your children. We're going to talk all about that with Michelle Essery from Full Well Neurofeedback and Counseling in Hoover. She joins us now live. Michelle, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Claire.
All right. So first of all, there's some things that students need to know as they prepare to sort of, quote, fly the nest. Let's talk about some of that advice for these students.
Yeah, well, for most students, when they are leaving home to go to college, this is going to be the first big time that they are doing life on their own. And so it can be tempting to just do whatever you want, or to not prioritize, or to not know what to do and feel really, really anxious or stressed about it before you go. And so here are just a couple quick tips to think about as you are trying to prioritize your life, right? Prioritize school and work. So if you have to work, make sure that you make time for that and prioritize it, and school the same, because in effect, those are your primary jobs if you're in college, right? You want to make sure that you are actually doing your schoolwork so that the time that you have in college is used effectively. Now, as far as all the other things go, right, like the life outside of your school and your work, it's really important that you figure out how to manage your time well so that you can work, but then you can also do the things you want to do and have fun. So you're not studying all the time with your friends all the time, but there's some kind of balance, right? One good, including sleep. I think one of the things that can sometimes get lost when you don't do some time management is, maybe prioritize sleep.
And you end up pulling those all-nighters.
Yes, you can do that a little, but if you do that too much, your body actually shuts down and you stop functioning. So focus on building relationships. One of the best things about this next phase of life is you have people in your life that you are around all the time, that you have opportunity to meet lots of people. There's bound to be some of those people that you get along with and connect with. So focus on really leaning into friendships and relationships outside of your home. Remember the everyday tasks, like don't forget to do your laundry, remember to brush your teeth, make sure you get groceries, some of those basic things that if you haven't had to do them for yourself, you just need to focus on making sure those happen, and maybe even just having a day or a time that you do them. And then finally, find places you fit and things you enjoy. This is a great time to kind of explore what it is you really like, and if there are groups or maybe classes or different sub areas where you really connect, like find your spots and really lean in. This is a great opportunity for that, to try a lot of different things.
And this is sort of the first time for either you to try new things or even focus on building those friendships without your parents sort of hovering over you or nearby. It's that independence, and you get to try these things on your own without them, correct?
Yeah, you get to try all these things, but it's also adulting for the first time. So it's this mix of freedom and responsibility, right? And so, as you're figuring it out, it's normal to have ups and downs, but if you can prioritize a few things, you can really make the most of it.
All right, now let's talk about advice for parents as they're going through this transition as well.
Absolutely. A lot of times for parents, this is a major life transition for them also, right? Whether it's their first child going, their only child going, or their last child going, there's some things that begin to transition when your children begin to launch out of the home and you enter this new phase of life, right? You're doing this kind of figuring out what you are in life and identity building all over again too. It's just different. And so one of the things to remember is when your kids are launching, you're going to have some waves of emotion related to that, right? Like there's some loss in not having those kids at home with you all the time. And so go ahead, and as you are launching into this next phase of life for you, go ahead and ride the emotional waves. I got a little surfer on there for you to make it clear, like they are going to come. It doesn't help to pretend like they're not there, and it doesn't help to sit and drown in them. Just ride through them as they come. Focus on your important relationships. One of the things that can be really tough when you have been focused on parenting for so much of your life and your kids go, it's important to focus on the people who are there. Maybe it's a spouse or partner, maybe it's some best friends, maybe it's all of the above. It could be your other kids, right? That's one of the other points on here, like focusing on those. But leaning in to the relationships that suddenly you really have more time and energy to focus on again. Jump into activities you enjoy. This is figuring out what you like to do. If your life, let's say you were a baseball mom or dad and you spent all your time on the baseball field, or a dance mom or dad, choose. Either one of those, you might be spending all of your time in these activities and suddenly your schedule is wide open. And so figuring out what you want to do with your time, what are the things you enjoy doing, that's a big step. Plan or schedule touch points with your child. This is really big because your child, if they are launched, it is much easier to have like a planned, maybe a Sunday lunch or dinner, or we call every Wednesday night at this time, or those things. It's good for both of you to have that consistency. One, because there isn't that expectation or pressure that gets lost. It's something that you guys can both expect and lean on. Consider the impacts on your other kids. Sometimes when one child leaves, we forget that maybe that other kid who's never been alone suddenly is, and maybe we need to pay some of that need in them. And then finally, let it be, it is a first step in a next phase for you, right? Like hopefully you've got another 20 or 50 years, so whatever it is, what do you want for this next phase for you? Maybe it's thinking about, hey, I want to spend a lot of time with my friends. Maybe it's thinking about, I want to start thinking about traveling and retirement, or whatever it is. Start to dream and plan for what's next in your life.
Yes. So big changes for on both sides, for the students and the parents. Michelle, we certainly appreciate you joining us today to share this information. I know our viewers found it helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.